Who said teams don't trade in the NFL? We have another trade and a big one. I mean, maybe the biggest one so far. It's the first one to have a first round selection where you have the Miami Dolphins have traded for Bradley Chubb. They are getting a first round pick. It's the first round pick that Miami acquired from San Francisco. So that's the first round selection. So, kind of a later first round pick, but you're getting someone who a former, fifth overall pick from the Denver Broncos. That's notable in itself, and he has had some very good years. He's been injured and has had some inconsistencies as well. He currently, Pro Football Focus, is 28th rated edge rusher, so that's not bad. You'll certainly take that. Again, I think the health has been the biggest negative about his game so far. So for a team like Miami, who, Jalen Phillips has been very good this season. He's Pro Football Focus's 19th rated edge rusher. So he's taken that second year jump forward. So guy that a lot of people liked coming out of college has been good. Andrew Van Ginkel, Melvin Ingram, Emmanuel Ogbah has not had his best year. But, you have guys who are already good edge rushers there. You don't need another edge rusher necessarily, but they feel like they don't have a Bradley Chubb there. I mean, they might with Phillips, but maybe they want another Bradley Chubb type caliber player, which I can understand, and I think it makes some sense. So a couple ways to take this. For one thing, there was some talk about, are the Broncos going to be sellers or are they going to stay put, which is, in today's NFL, which is super exciting, has now become a thing of teams are buyers and sellers, which I was expecting, I think it was last year, maybe, or 2 years ago, I made sure I stayed home I was going to do something, but I made sure I stayed home on the trade deadline day just in case there were some trades, and there was nothing, there's absolutely nothing. Now we're seeing a billion trades, it feels like. Bradley Chubb, I guess this means that you have to say the Broncos have given up on the season, right? They punted. This feels like they're just, I don't want to say they're giving up on the season, but they're accepting the reality that them getting a Super Bowl victory here seems very slim. He is on his last year of his contract, so he's a rental at this point. You might go out and give him another contract, but as of right now, his cap hit is $12 million, which the Dolphins have to take on all of. You can't you can't restructure into trade at this point. You can only do that if it was yesterday. So they're taking on the full $12.7 million for this year, and it feels like it could be a pure 1 year rental. So a late first round pick for a 1 year rental it's a decent amount. Now, again, you can franchise guys, right? Tua's on his rookie deal, so in this situation, you might as well go all in, right? It's interesting. It's a very interesting trade here by both perspectives. I do think that some people might be sitting here and saying, well, a first-round pick is a lot. Couldn't you have, you didn't desperately need an edge rusher, maybe give up less than a first-round pick and try to get someone else? I don't think you're getting a quality edge rusher for anything less than a first-round pick. I mean, we saw what some of these, what Robert Quinn still got a fourth-round pick, and he hasn't been great this season. So maybe you could find a guy and get a second-round pick, but I think if you wanted Chubb, you were at least getting a first-round pick. And from what I understand, there still could be more involved right here. I'm seeing the okay, actually, here is the official thing. So it's mostly just a first-round pick. But a couple interesting notes here. So the Broncos are receiving a first, a fourth, and my voice cracked. A first, a fourth, and Chase Edmonds that's fascinating. So they get Chase Edmonds back, I'm sure, and then for Denver. So then Denver gives up the Bradley Chubb and also a fifth-round pick. So there's a fifth and a fourth in there. So you move up a little bit. The Broncos do, and then you get Chase Edmonds in a first. That's the trade. So, very fascinating here. I do wonder if Miami is doing this with the idea of we're going to sign Bradley Chubb, and maybe that makes it a little bit better, is not only do you get Chubb for a year here, but you also get an advantage of trying to, you can potentially get a head start on trying to sign him, because as of right now, their team cap space for next year is only $18 million. So they have some decisions to make, because again, you're paying Emmanuel Ogbah big money right now, and that's unfortunate that you're paying him this much money and he has not had his best season. That does happen with edge rushers. That's just kind of the reality that you live in there. So maybe this is just hey, we're going all in this year. We have a team that we feel can compete for a Super Bowl. because you are giving up a first round pick, or maybe they're feeling like, hey, this is just, we like him and we're still going to find a way to make the salary cap space work, which you can still do. I mean, 18 million in cap space. We've seen teams stretch that out very far. I mean, that's almost feels like nothing. So there's ways, and of course, I'm sure there's guys they can cut if they want to. So that's the other option. Although I'm looking at their cap space right now. On over the cap, not a lot of guys they can get rid of to get a ton of space. Now, Chase Edmonds is off the books. That saves, it was Chase Edmonds, right? Yeah, Chase Edmonds off the book. That saves $6 million. So that actually is a pretty good move. I don't know why. It almost feels like he's a negative asset just with how much he's getting paid. So that actually helps you out cap space wise and allows them to potentially re-sign Chubb if they want to. I have to assume they kind of want to at the very least, but they want to be able to make sure they can rush the passer. Listen, their coverage unit has not been great this year. They feel like part of it has been injuries. So if you sort of say, hey, our guys are going to get healthier and we're now going to go out and get a Bradley Chubb, that's a, I understand the logic behind it. They have to make sure to, some of their healthy secondary players haven't been playing great either this year. So they got to turn that around, but their defense desperately needed help. So getting someone who can help in Bradley Chubb makes sense if you're trying to win a Super Bowl. So listen, with all these teams making these trades, some of these teams are going to regret it 3 years from now. That's just the reality of it. But there's also the chance that you win a Super Bowl because of it. And that is the goal at the end of the day. You have a Super Bowl window, try to win a Super Bowl. And again, you can potentially franchise tag Bradley Chubb. The franchise tag isn't cheap, so maybe you probably save money by locking him up just because that's kind of how it works. But this Dolphins team has a great pass rush now. They need to figure out their coverage unit a little bit. Again, that might just be staying healthy. And if they can do that, there you go. For the Denver Broncos, I like the trade. I do. Actually, I love the trade. I love the trade by Denver. I know I haven't talked about it too much, but listen, I felt like all year, this is a team that's not ready to compete this year. I feel like they're a year or two away. You're about to have to pay Bradley Chubb, getting a first-round pick for him, because once you pay him, you kind of lose the value. Edge rushers are valuable, but once they get paid, they kind of get paid their value, and sometimes and then some. So typically, a big contract to an edge rusher can often hurt a team. So getting rid of him now and getting a first-round pick back, I love that. I think that's great. I think this is a huge win for Denver. It's going to hurt. Again, Denver traded away Von Miller last year and now traded away Bradley Chubb. So it is going to hurt. It is. But at the same time, you're going to... One thing that's interesting, too, is Dolphins haven't had a ton of sacks this season. I think that's largely due to secondary more so than pass rush. That's how I have when I watch the games. And again, you look at kind of the advanced analytics or PFF grades, but even like pass rush win rate and stuff, they've had guys who have rushed the passer consistently. So I actually don't think it's a pass rush issue necessarily, but at the same time, getting a first round pick here, it basically means that you kind of get the value, because you traded all those first for Russell Wilson, where you're kind of getting that back now, and now you can really start to build for next year. So, and you don't have to pay him a ton of money. So I see that Adam Schefter tweeted out, Dolphins are expected to work out a long-term deal with Bradley Chubb, so that makes some sense, and it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.